நமக்கு இங்கெல்லாம் ஒரு காஃபி மிஷின் எல்லாம் எதுவும் இருக்காதா?
கேஸ் காலி ஆயிடுச்சு.
Okay, chalo, question number 51. For the previous question, which of the following features apply to public debt or the sovereign debt of union government? Both the statements are true. It is secured on the Consolidated Fund of India, which is covered in Article 292, and it also includes both internal and external debts. Question 52. RBI's own core banking solution platform is known by the name e-Kuber, right? And what is e-Shakti? E-Shakti is under NABARD. It's not RBI, it is NABARD, and it deals with digitalization of self-help groups. SHG stands for self-help groups. Digitalization of self-help groups is e-Shakti. And Bharat Bill platform is a transaction payment platform. Bharat Bill platform is a payment platform. Fine. Question 53. Which of the following are recognized as all India financial institutions? Financial institutions. Exim Bank, SIDBI, National Housing Board, and NABFID. Exim varum, SIDBI varma, National Housing Bank varma, NABFID varma. All four are in all India financial institutions. NABFID stands for National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development. National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development. And SIDBI, we all know, Small Industries Development Bank of India, which primarily focusing on the development of MSMEs, Small Industry Development Bank. Right? Question number 54. What is the main tool used under flexible inflation targeting framework by RBI? It is repo rate. Repo rate is largely managing money supply, thereby tackling inflation. Question number 55. Read the question and give me the answer. What is bad bank initiative? Key objective. NPA. To resolve stressed assets and NPAs in the banking sector. Option C. The objective of bad bank initiative. Under this initiative, two important bodies were established. One is National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. And the other one is India Debt Resolution Company Limited. India Debt Resolution Company Limited. So these were established as an initiative of bad bank, which primarily resolves the issue of stressed assets and NPA. Option C. Okay. A company defaults on a large loan and the bank decides to sell the loan to an asset reconstruction company. What immediate impact will this likely have on the bank? Immediate impact. NPA will reduce. Yes. Yeah. The bank's non-performing assets or NPA will be reduced. That would be the immediate one. What about the bank's liquidity will decrease immediately? Second option. It is not true. Bank's liquidity will decrease immediately. The bank's profit will increase substantially. Okay, so other options are wrong. Option A, that would be the immediate effect. 57. With reference to primary agricultural credit societies in India, consider the following statements. They function as the lowest tier of the rural cooperative credit structure. Rural cooperatives or village cooperatives or இருக்கக்கூடியதா so-called primary agriculture credit societies. They can accept deposits only from their members. Yes or no? Deposit only from their members? Not necessarily, yes. They are regulated directly by the Reserve Bank of India. No, not directly. They are regulated by the state cooperative banks. State cooperative banks at the state level. இதே மாதிரி district cooperative banks plus PAC. They deal with the people directly. Giving loans to the people by district cooperative banks and your primary agricultural credit societies. And they are regulated under state cooperative banks, which are in regulated per se by RBI. So directly by RBI, the statement wrong. The answer is option A, one only. Option A, one only. Question number 58. Wait. They can accept deposits only from their members. It's a true statement. It is true. It is true. They can give loan to others by making them members. Okay, so second statement is true. Answer B. 1 and 2. Correct yourself. Answers of statement 1 and 2 are correct. Question number 58. Regarding bank health, read the conditions and try to answer the question. The major reason banks may take higher risk is that the losses incurred are not entirely borne by them. Compliance and prudential norms alone is sufficient to ensure a bank's long-term strength. The RBI mandates banks to prudently manage credit risks to safeguard depositors and maintain systemic stability. Now you need to identify the incorrect statement. Which statement is or are wrong? பேங்க்ஸ் ஏன் பெரிய ரிஸ்க் எடுத்து பெரிய லாஸ் ஆனாலும் கூட பெரிய ரிஸ்க் ஏன் எடுக்கிறாங்க? ஏன்னா they are not entirely borne by them. Is that statement true? Yes, they have a insurance coverage also. இப்போ வந்து insurer of insurance, reinsurerங்கிற கான்செப்ட் கூட வருது. So obviously the loss is not entirely borne by the bank. So they are willing to take more risk. So first statement is true. Compliance with prudential norms alone is sufficient to ensure a bank's long-term strength? No. There are other factors also. So not sticking with the norms will maintain a long-term strength of bank. Second statement is false. RBI mandates bank to prudentially manage credit risk to safeguard depositors and maintain systematic stability. Yes, CRR, SLR in the concepts ellame to safeguard the depositors. So third statement is true. So identifying the incorrect statement, option B, 2 only. 2 only is the incorrect statement in 58. Question number 59. Statement 1. The Indian government has frequently undertaken recapitalization of public sector banks. Yes or no? The government has recently more frequently have taken recapitalization of public sector banks. Recapitalization increases the government's fiscal burden. Recapitalization panna kandipa government fiscal burden increase ஆகும். Yes, this is also true, but the thing is they are looking for the safeguard of their company's economic growth and fiscal burden. So அதனால தான் அது பண்ணதே தவிர்த்து this is not correct explanation. Both the statements are true. Option B. Option B. Why Indian government is going for recapitalization is to maintain maintain economic stability even though it has got a fiscal cost. Or fiscal cost involved ஆனாலும் கூட to maintain economic stability, Indian government undergoes recapitalization of PSP. So both the statements are true and it does not correctly explain the first statement. Which of the following describes waterfall mechanism under IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016? Waterfall mechanism na என்னவா இருக்கும்? கெஸ் பண்ணுங்க, ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம். Waterfall mechanism. C இல்லப்பா, it is option A. அதாவது ஒரு proceeds, distribution of proceeds creditorsல when ஒரு சேல் ஆஃப் கார்ப்பரேட் டெப்ட்ஸ் நடக்கும்போது நடக்கக்கூடிய ப்ரொசீட்ஸை எதுக்காக யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? ஹை ப்ரையாரிட்டி நீட்ஸுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட், அதுக்கப்புறமேட்டி லெஸ் ப்ரையாரிட்டி நீட்ஸுக்குன்னு சொல்லி ரீடிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்றது தான் அந்த வாட்டர் ஃபால் மெக்கானிசம். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் தி டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் ஆஃப் resolution proceeds among creditors in a fixed order of priority. So it is a structured hierarchical priority where the proceeds which have been earned after selling the corporate debts இது வந்து ஆர்டரா கொடுக்குது. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆர்டர், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ரையாரிட்டி ஆர்டர், செகண்ட் ப்ரையாரிட்டி ஆர்டர். ஸோ ஆப்ஷன் ஏ. ஓகே. வித் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் டு தி இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் யூட்டிலிட்டி under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, consider the following statement. Its primary role is to act as repository of financial information, including debts and defaults. So information utility, it acts as a storage of fiscal informations, financial informations, including debts and defaults. Yes. The Reserve Bank of India is responsible for regulating information utilities under the IBC framework. Second one. It is the IBBI. It is not RBI. IBBI is responsible. IBBI is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code la irukkude framework. So insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. They are responsible for regulating the information utilities under IBC framework. So the answer is option A, one only. Option A, one only. Surfacing. Okay, with reference to the Surfacing Act 2002, consider the following statements. Securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of security interest act, Surfacing, right? It aimed to regulate securitization and reconstruction of financial assets from the very name, right? It empowers lenders to seize and auction mortgaged assets without court intervention. The provisions of the act apply to agricultural land as well. All three. No, the provisions does not apply to agricultural land. The Surfacing Act, they does not extend it to. They does not apply to the agricultural land. So option only 2. 1 and 2. Option B. Question number 63. What does shadow banking refers to in the context of non-banking financial companies? Shadow banking na enna? Unregulated NBFC operations, activities outside the formal banking network, NBFCs exclusively serving high net worth individuals, none of the above. Enappa? B. Activities outside the formal banking networks is referred to as shadow banking. That's option B. UPIs are again a favorite theme, expected questions. Right, chalo. Question number 64. Which of the following statements regarding Unified Payment Interface UPI are correct? UPI allows linking multiple bank accounts into a simple mobile application, enabling seamless fund transfers. UPI is developed and managed by RBI as a part of its digital payment initiative. UPI was established under the Payments and Settlements System Acts 2007. 1 and 2, 1 and 3. Yeah. UPI was developed by NPCI. Yes, it is managed by RBI, but it is developed by NPCI. So that makes the second statement wrong. Answer is 1 and 3. Option A. Option A, 1 and 3. Next. Question 65. Non-resident Indians are permitted to invest in which of the following sectors? Question 65. Small savings schemes, real estate, government securities, mutual funds. Answer is not all. There is one wrong. No, no. Small savings schemes. Government securities invest. Okay, the answer except 1. 2, 3, and 4. Real estate, government securities, and mutual funds. Option C. 66. Read the question properly and give me the answer. Unified Payments Interface, National Electronic Fund Transfer, NEFT, Bharat Bill Payment System, Real-Time Gross Settlement, RTGS, RuPay Card. Which of the payments are not managed by NPCI? The answer is 2 and 4. Both are managed under RBI. NEFT and RTGS bank transfers. So the answer is 2 and 4. The rest are managed by NPCI. Which of the following correctly explains National Housing Bank's method of providing financial support? Housing Bank infrastructure. So read the options, give me the answer. Correctly explains National Housing Bank's method of providing financial support. Idupa? B. So why second statement wrong? The real estate developers kudukka matanga. If third option is right, it finances banks and institutions which per se offers loans, house loans. So they do not directly provide working loans to the real estate developers. The rest 3 statements are true. It extends indirect financial supports. See, indirect theriyumode idu direct ah kudukal. So either one or third statement, which you are very sure, we can conclude the answer. It is 1, 3, and 4. Second statement is wrong. Question number 68. Which of the following items fall under revenue expenditure? Grants given to state governments, interest payments on borrowings, purchase of land for public projects. Revenue expenditure. 1 and 2. Purchase of land for public projects largely fall under capital expenditure. Yes. So answer option B, 1 and 2. The term off-budget borrowings refer to off-budget borrowings. Read all 4 statements and give me the answer. Off-budget borrowing na enna varu? Option B. No. Take another guess. Budget la varadu. They are not listed in the budget. A. Government borrowings that are not reflected in the fiscal deficit or your public budget, but are raised through public sector enterprises or special purpose vehicles. Option A. Option A. Official budget அது வராது, but they raise fund with the help of PSUs of budget borrowings. These public sector enterprises or so-called special purpose vehicles borrow money on behalf of government. Government is liable to pay them back, but they do not raise directly, they raise through public sector undertakings. Therefore, the name of budget borrowing. Option A. Question number 70. Which of the following best explains the aim of outcome budgeting? Aim of outcome budgeting. A, right? So ensuring expenditure results in measurable outputs and outcomes. That's outcome budgeting, which ensures accountability and effective use of public debt. It ensures accountability and efficient use of public debt. Option A. Question number 70, option A. Which are the following are potential drawbacks of implementing a surplus budget? Surplus budget இருக்கக்கூடிய drawbacks. May lead to a reduction in public welfare expenditure. It discourages economic growth during recessionary periods. Two obviously true. ஏன்னா surplus budget ஓட first primary drawback அப்படிங்கிறதே economic slowdown or economic growth குறைவா இருக்கிறது தான். It may lead to reduction in public welfare expenditure. The statement is may. So the option is both 1 and 2. It may lead to reduction in public welfare expenditure. Option C, both 1 and 2. Question. Read through the passage and give me the answer. It is a tool of fiscal management rather than long-term financing. Short-term lending mechanism used by both central and state governments to address temporary mismatches between their income and expenditure. Option. Ways and means advances. Yes, option B, ways and means advances. Okay. Question 73. The taxation function of the government budget is primarily aimed at controlling the money supply. The primary objective of the government when using a progressive taxation is to reduce economic disparity. Government எதுக்கு taxation பண்றாங்க? For government revenue, government order income, the revenue, taxation is primary mode. So even though it also helps in managing the money supply, it is not the primary objective. Taxation of the government budget is a source of government revenue. To run the government, we need finances. So taxation is the primary source. So first one is wrong. The primary objective of government when using a progressive taxation system is to reduce economic disparities. True. Second statement is true. First statement is false. Option B. 73, option B, 2 only. Which of the following statements accurately describe non-debt capital receipts? they do not create any debt or liability for the government. That's non-debt, right? They involve borrowing from the public. Public இருந்து borrow பண்ணோம் அப்படினாலே அதுக்கு என்ன ஆயிடும் கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கான liability மாறிடும். So it becomes a debt. So second வராது. They may result from the sale of asset or recovery of loan. Yes. So 1 and 3. Option C. Option C, 1 and 3. Sorry. Consider the following statement regarding capital expenditure in India. Capital expenditure includes spending on infrastructure, asset creation, and long-term investments by the government. Yes, the very true definition of capital expenditure. Capital expenditure leads to higher multiplier effect than the revenue expenditure in the economy. Yes. Capital expenditure has seen a downward trend in the last 10 years. No, it has generally increased. The capital expenditure has increased in the last decade. So third statement is wrong. First two statements are true. Option A, 1 only, 1 and 2 only. Option A, 1 and 2 only. Question number 76. Which of the following statements regarding fiscal deficit in India is or are correct? Fiscal deficit. The difference between government's total expenditure and its total revenue, excluding borrowings. A high fiscal deficit indicates the government is borrowing more to meet its expenditure, which can lead to inflationary pressures. In India, fiscal deficit has been a consistent downtrend since last 10 years. Obviously, கரெக்டா இல்லையானாலும் third statement கண்டிப்பா ஒரு mismatch. It has been fluctuated. It is not constantly rising or constantly falling. It has seen fluctuations, especially post-COVID. The fiscal deficit has seen some fluctuations. So third statement is wrong. First two statements are true. Option A, again, 1 and 2 only. இல்லப்பா இல்ல லாஸ்ட் 5 இயர்ஸ்ங்கிற ஒரு டேட்டா முதல்ல எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க ஏன்னா கன்சிஸ்டன்டா ரைஸ் ஆகுது ஃபால் ஆகுதுன்னு சொல்லும் போது வி டாக் ஓவர் அ பீரியட் ஆஃப் 10 இயர்ஸ் ஒரு டெக்கேடல் growth குறைஞ்சிருக்கு அது குறைஞ்சிருக்குன்னா இப்பதான் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆயிருக்கு இப்போ போஸ்ட் கோவிட்க்கு அப்புறமேட்டி தான் அந்த நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி அது அதிகமா விட்னஸ் ஆகுது ஸோ 5 இயர்ஸ்ங்கிற ஒரு டைம் ஃப்ரேம் மோஸ்ட்லி எக்கானமில எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க சின்ஸ் வி ஹாவ் அ மேஜர் ஒரு வாட்டர் டிவைட் ஈவெண்ட் என்டையர் திங்கை ஷேக் பண்ணதுனால ஐம் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் போஸ்ட் கோவிட் ஆனா அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சினாரியோ மோஸ்ட்லி கொண்டு வர மாட்டாங்க ஒரு டெக்கேடல் growthல எப்படி இருந்திருக்கு ட்ரெண்ட் அந்த மாதிரி தான் கொண்டு போவாங்க ஓகே கன்சிஸ்டன்ட்லிங்கிற கொண்டு வரும்போது அது ஒரு டெக்கேடல் சேஞ்சா பார்ப்பாங்க எக்கனாமிக் டேர்ம்ஸ் with reference to zero budget budgeting consider the following statements. Zero budget budgeting. Look for the extreme words. You might find the statement little off or weird. Identify the statement. First statement, zero-based budgeting requires departments to justify its entire budget allocation from scratch rather than basing it on the previous year's expenditures. That's zero-based. First learn the zero-based budgeting. First statement is true. The Government of India adopted zero-based budgeting as mandatory budgeting method under Fiscal Responsibility and Management Act 2003. It is not mandatory. Unlike incremental budgeting, zero-based budgeting focuses on cost-benefit analysis for each program, ensuring efficient allocation of resources based on current needs and priorities. In India, adoption of outcome-based budgeting has led to complete replacement of zero-based budgeting in the recent fiscal policies. No, complete replacement aligned. Okay. look for the extreme terminologies. Read through the. Okay, the answer is 1 and 3. 1 and 3 option A. Option 1 and 3. Check. Question number 78. The vote on account deals primarily with the expenditure side of government's budget. And the 2 months, 3 months vote on account, the government order expenditure deal pannadu. Yes, first statement is true. Primarily deals with expenditure side. The vote on account generally is equivalent to 1/6 of the total estimate of expenditure for the entire financial year. Yes, approximately it is 1/6 of the total expenditure. And the year kana 2 months than vote on account. So 1/6 of the financial year. That is also true. Now answer the question. B. Both the statements are true, but it does not explain. Explain statement 1. என்ன சொல்றாங்க புரிஞ்சுங்களா? Total estimated expenditureல 1/6 தான். அது expenditure மட்டும் தான் focus பண்ணுது. So these are true statements, but need not necessarily explains or justifies your first statement. Okay, option B. Chalo. Under FRBM Act, which of the following reports are required to submitted to ensure fiscal transparency and accountability? Financial stability report is by RBI, which talks about the economic or financial conditions of India overall. Okay, so the RBI order report varadu, the other 3 will come. Medium term fiscal policy statement, macroeconomic. The question number na? So the answer would be 1, 2 and 4. Yes, option C, 1, 2 and 4. Question number 80. A current account deficit may imply that a country is borrowing more from the rest of the world than it's lending. Current account deficit. India has always suffered from an overall current account deficit. First statement true. Current account deficit. Borrowing is more than it's lending. India has always suffered from an overall current account deficit. So look for the extreme terms. Some statements are mostly true. So India has some occasional surpluses. It is not always India experienced deficit. It has faced occasional surpluses in current account. What am I supposed to do? Minimize the. First statement is true. Yes, centrally sponsored schemes are exclusively based on subjects listed in the state list. Need not necessarily. In concurrent list also we can make, and in union list also we can make centrally sponsored schemes. Right? So exclusively based on state list. Illa. Answer A, 1 only. Correct, Dana. Correct statements. 82. Read the statements and give me the option. Statement 1 and 2. A balanced budget multiplier is equal to 1, implying that an equal increase in government spending and taxes leads to an equivalent increase in the aggregate income. True. Proportional taxes act as automatic stabilizers. இது last classலயும் question பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? Act as automatic stabilizers, moderating fluctuations in aggregate demand by reducing the sensitivity of disposable income to changes in GDP. This is also true. Both the statements are true, but 1, 2 does not explain. Option B. Again, option B. Both the statements are true. With reference to public goods in India, consider the following statements. Police services are considered public goods because they are non-rivalrous and non-excludable. Police services as an example of public goods. All government subsidies are explicitly mentioned in union budget documents. No, no. Answer A1 only. Police services are considered public goods because they are non-rivalrous and non-excludable. Question number 84. Which of the following are charged expenditure on the Consolidated Fund of India? Question number 84. Option A. A. Option 1 and 2. Subsidies are from Consolidated Fund of India, but it is a voted expenditure. Option A, 1 and 2 are both charged from the Consolidated Fund of India. Which one of the following is not considered as a revenue receipt on the Government of India? So you need to identify one among us a capital receipt. Either revenue receipt. Malapuri. D. D. Disinvestments. The sale of government shares in public sector company is a capital receipt. Option D. Which of the following statements are correct with reference to departments of the Ministry of Finance in India? The Department of Revenue is responsible for the administration of direct and indirect taxes. The Department of Economic Affairs deals with economic policies and issues related to financial markets, exchange rates, and external trade. Which of the statements are true? Both the statements are true. Consider the following statements with reference to crowding in or crowding out effect. A high level of public debt will lead to crowding in effect. Increased government spendings on infrastructure projects financed by borrowing can lead to crowding in effect. Sure. What is crowding in and crowding out? Now read the statements. A high level of public debt will lead to crowding out effect. It is not a crowding in effect. Increase in public debt would lead in crowding out. Increased government spendings on infrastructure projects financed by borrowing can lead to crowding in. So the answer is option B, 2 only. Okay, question number 88. Read the statements. Public finance helps achieve redistribution through progressive taxation and welfare expenditure. Public finance plays a stabilizing role by countering business cycle using fiscal policy tools. The primary purpose of public finance is maximizing government revenue to maintain administrative expenditure. Answer is 2, only 2. Identify the wrong statement. Revenue maximization is taxation policy, not primarily the public finance, right? So revenue maximization is not the primary purpose. Redistribution is the primary purpose. So answer is option statements 1 and 2, option B only 2. Non-debt capital receipts, borrowing through treasury bills, recovery of loans and advances, provident fund deposits. Which of the following are classified as non-debt capital receipts? Question number 89. Only one. And which one? Second. Second one, second. Borrowing through treasury bills, borrowing வரும்போது அது உங்களுக்கு debt கணக்குல வரும், and provident fund deposits again a liability debt. So recovery of loans and advances is a non-debt capital receipts, only one. How many of the following techniques explicitly link expenditure to measurable outcomes? Explicitly. Performance budgeting, outcome budgeting, line item budgeting, zero-based budgeting. Only 2. Which one? 1 and 2. Performance budgeting and outcome-based budgeting. These focuses more on the justification rather than the per se outcomes. So explicitly linked with expenditure. So this is these two. Performance budgeting and outcome budgeting. Types of budgeting alla வீட்டுக்கு போய் ஒரு நோட் எடுத்து எழுதுங்க சரியா? The government invokes the escape clause under FRBM framework during a severe economic slowdown. This action allows the government to escape clause-ங்கிறது என்ன? Option D. Relax fiscal deficit and debt targets temporarily. That is the escape clause under FRBM framework. Question number 92. The Constitution of India requires the Union budget to separately classify revenue and capital expenditure. The classification ensures that borrowing is used solely to meet current consumption needs, not for investment purposes. C. Why second statement wrong? It cannot be used. The primary function of borrowing is for investment. Okay, revenue generation இருந்தா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணி ஆகணும், current consumption needs எடுக்கணும். So borrow பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா அது everyday needs இருக்க முடியாது, ஒரு capital formation investmentக்காக தான் borrowing பண்ணணும். So obviously option C. Yes, statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Question number 93. Disinvestments proceeds are classified as non-debt capital receipts. Disinvestments reduces government liabilities in the public account. Answer oda irukku. What is the answer? Why second statement true? It increases the government liability. Sure. பப்ளிக் அக்கௌண்டோட லைபிலிட்டில அது இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும்ல. பப்ளிக் செக்டர் அண்டர்பிரைசிங்கோட ஷேர் நம்ம செல் பண்றோம்லப்பா. அப்ப பப்ளிக் அக்கவுண்ட்ல வி ஆர் மேக்கிங் அ லைபிலிட்டி ஃபார் தி பப்ளிக். ஓகே. Not per se on the entire government, but on the public account, the disinvestments makes a liability. I don't know why all questions might have answer now. 94. Which of the following are characteristics of real exchange rate? All three statements are true. It adjusts the nominal effective range for inflation difference between countries. It is a weighted average of countries' currency against a basket of other countries. It provides insight into a country's competitiveness in international markets. All three statements are correct. Option D. Which institution provides extended fund facility? உங்களோட காப்பிலயும் இருக்கா ஆன்சர் இருக்கா? International Monetary Fund. Okay. Which of the following statements regarding balance of payments are correct? Current account measures the difference between a country's total exports and imports of goods only. Balance of trade excludes the flow of goods. என்னப்பா? ma'am. No. Current account measures the difference of countries' exports and imports of goods and services. Goods and services. Balance of trade includes the flow of goods. இதுல தான் goods only வரணும். So it includes. So both the statements are wrong. Answer is D, neither one nor two. The current account of the balance of payment include only transactions involving the exchange of goods and services. A surplus in the current account means a country is necessarily experiencing a deficit in the capital account. Special drawing rights are a component of your current account. Identify the incorrect statement. C, 2 and 3. First statement, only transactions involving goods and services, balance of payment இன்னொரு transfers ஒன்னு இருக்கும் பாத்தீங்களா? So goods, services and transfers. So only transactions involving goods and services wrong. It includes transfers also. So first statement wrong. Second statement, need not necessarily experiencing a deficit in capital account. Special drawing rights are a component of your capital account. So all three statements are wrong. Answer A, 1, 2 and 3. All three statements are wrong. Consider the following receipts with respect to union budget. Examples of capital receipts. Capital receipts yaar? Chalo. Only two. Identify the two. Yes. So the examples of capital receipts among the given are borrowings from the market and disinvestment proceeds from selling PSU shares. 3 and 5. 3 and 5 தானே? Only 2. Chalo. Give me the order. Consider the following stages of the enactment of union budget, which is the correct chronological order of the above stages for the budget to pass through the parliament. Option D. Convincingly ரெண்டு மூணு தெரிஞ்சாலே இதை ஆன்சர் பண்ணிட முடியும். So option D. So first is the presentation of budget, next is the general discussion, then comes the scrutiny by departmental standing committees, then what? Voting of demand of rights, passage of appropriation bill, passage of finance bill. Option D. Last question. So it is a type of budgeting that organizes financial data by broad programs or objectives rather than by individual departments or line items. It provides a structured way to present the financial plan showing how resources are allocated across various programs. It is particularly useful for resource allocation and long-term planning. It simplifies the presentation by lacks deep insights into cost-effective analysis or overall impact. Answer C. Program budgeting. Okay. Question Indian economy. Okay. பண்ணிடலாம் இன்னும் ஒரு 100 questions தான், then we can leave home. So read through the question, give me the answer. An Indian who was earlier a resident but later migrated abroad opens a NRO account in India. Which of the following is correct? It is held in Indian rupees. It cannot be used as a fixed deposit account. Its interest rate is linked to LIBOR or swap rate. It allows free repatriation of all foreign income without restrictions. இந்தியால ஒரு அக்கவுண்ட் ஹோல்ட் பண்றாங்க, நான் ரெசிடென்ட். கரெக்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். ஐடென்டிஃபை தி கரெக்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். அது ஃபிக்ஸ்டு டெபாசிட்டா யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். இட் கேன் பி யூஸ்ட். லிபார் அண்ட் ஸ்வாப் ரேட்டுங்கிறது என்ன? இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ரேட்டு பேங்கோட லெண்டிங்காக கொடுக்கறது, இந்த அக்கௌண்ட்டுக்காக இல்ல இல்லையா? ஸோ அதுவும் வராது. ஏ, இட் இஸ் ஹெல்ட் இன் இந்தியன் ருபீஸ். Simple and straight at your face, it is held in Indian rupees. Option A is the correct statement. Without any restrictions. Consider the following statement with regard to the purchasing power parity. Answer. Second statement is wrong. The purchasing power parity based exchange rate, it do reflect the purchasing power of money to buy non-traded goods. Non-traded goods na enna? எக்ஸ்போர்ட் இம்போர்ட் பண்ணாம எங்க அது ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆகுதோ அங்கேயே அதை கன்சியூம் பண்ணக்கூடிய குட்ஸ் தான் நான் ட்ரேடட் குட்ஸ்னு சொல்லுவோம், ரைட்? ஸோ இட் ஆல்சோ ரிஃப்ளெக்ட்ஸ் திஸ். ஸோ செகண்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ராங், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ட்ரூ. தி ஆன்சர் இஸ் சி, ஆப்ஷன் சி. चलो. Consider the following information. Economic integration, their feature with an example. Identify the correctly matched. Or identify the wrong statement. One among them is wrong. All three are correct. Rest three are correct. என்னன்னு பாருங்க எது? என்னம்மா தேர்ட் ஒன்னா மேம்னா இது காமன் மார்க்கெட்டா இல்ல அது கரெக்ட் தான். செகண்ட் ஒன் சி காமன் கரன்சிங்கிறது யாருக்கு வரும்? எக்கனாமிக் யூனியன்ஸுக்கு வரும், கஸ்டம்ஸ் யூனியன்ஸுக்கு வராது. செகண்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ஸ்ட்ராங். ஆப்ஷன் அந்த மாதிரி ஆன்சர் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, பட் இதுலயுமே தெர் இஸ் அ மிஸ்லீடிங், ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு மிஸ்லீடிங் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் கம்ப்ளீட்லி அமங் தி பார்ட்டிஸ்னு இருக்குல்ல, திஸ் இஸ் ஸ்லைட்லி மிஸ்லீடிங், பட் தி ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் given would sound this is also true. Okay, so the ஆமா ஆமா சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, அதான் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஆனா கம்ப்ளீட்லி அமங் தி பார்ட்டிஸ்னு இருக்குல்ல, அந்த கம்ப்ளீட்லிங்கிறது நாட் ரியல் வேர்ட், அந்த எக்ஸாக்ட் வேர்டு யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க அந்த இடத்துல. To, when you look at the meaning and the context, it sounds yes true, but the word completelyங்கிறது mostly free trade agreementல யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. So the answer would be 3, only 3. Second one is wrong. Customs union is wrong. Which of the following scenarios in trade between two countries most likely to be mutually beneficial? ரெண்டு பேருக்குமே பெனிஃபிஷியலா இருக்கக்கூடிய trade scenario. Both countries export the same goods with a similar production cost. Both countries export goods in which they have high absolute productivity even if opportunity costs are identical. Both countries export goods in which they have comparative advantage, both A and B. Mutual benefit எப்போ இருக்கும் அந்த கண்ட்ரீஸுக்கு? சி கம்பேரிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ்ல ஒர்க் பண்ணும்போது தான், அப்சல்யூட் ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டியும் கிடையாது, சேம் ப்ரொடக்ஷன்ல எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணா தே பிகம் காம்படிட்டர்ஸ் இன் தி இன்டர்நேஷனல் மார்க்கெட். ஸோ மியூச்சுவல் பெனிஃபிட்ங்கிறது எப்போ இருக்கும்? ஒரு கம்பேரிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ் இருக்கும் போது தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ ஆப்ஷன் சி. Full capital account convertibility, again a PYQ. It refers to the freedom to convert a local financial assets into foreign financial assets and vice versa. இதுதான் capital account convertibility ன்னு சொல்லுவோமா? It helps Indian companies to get external commercial borrowings without approval of the RBI. The SS Tarapur committee recommended bringing the fiscal deficit down to 2% of GDP to ensure economic stability before moving towards full capital account convertibility. Statements are correct. Just a number value, approximation of 3%. Okay, approximation of 3%. So the answer is, பாக்கி எல்லாமே கரெக்ட் தான் அந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ல. So answer is option B, 1 and 2. Convert local financial assets into foreign financial assets and vice versa. இதான் full capital account convertibility. Does India achieve full convertibility? No. Which of the following statements are correct regard to internationalization of rupee? இது last class பார்த்தோம். Okay. Last class பார்த்த same question தான். Mitigate currency risks. Requires India to hold large foreign exchange reserves. It can increase the bargaining power. It can make India more vulnerable to external shocks. One and three. நேத்தோ இதே தான் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம், சரியா? It becomes less shock ன்னு பார்த்தோம்ல, that is wrong. When you internationalize rupee, you become more vulnerable to external shocks. Last class, this had a different answer. Yes, the fourth statement is also true. Option அந்த மாதிரியான இல்ல, அதனால we are going for that. Okay, make sure it does not make it becomes less vulnerable. By internationalization of rupees, we are vulnerable to more shocks. This is also true. But going by the options given, the answer is 1 and 3. Option A. Again a repetition question. இது ரெண்டுமே wrong. Blue blocks. நேத்து பார்த்த question தான் இது. Okay. Answer one only. Option C. So this is where I went wrong. The practices are prohibited. Last class I discussed rules of origin வராது. இது ரெண்டுமே வரும். இது ரெண்டுமே வரும். திரும்ப இதுல திரும்ப when we look into the options, this is generally prohibited. It has some exceptions. And this is completely prohibited. So we'll go with option A one only. Last class, some student also pointed it out. Mandate la first one தான வரும். I made not mandateங்கிற மாதிரி ஃபிக்ஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு. So I went with 3. ஏன்னா இது ரெண்டுமே வரும் ஆப்ஷன் இல்லையே அப்போ 3ன்னு நான் ஃபிக்ஸ் ஆயிட்டேன். Okay. So correct yourself. This is option A one only. Domestic content requirement. Okay. Prohibited by WTO mandate. Types of custom duty and their features. Anti-dumping, countervailing, safeguard measures. How many of the pairs are correctly matched? Anti-dumping எப்ப பண்ணுவோம்? அதோட ஃபேர் மார்க்கெட் வேல்யூ விட கம்மியான ஒரு பிரைஸ்ல இங்க அவைலபிளா இருக்குன்னா we put for anti-dumping. So it has nothing to do with subsidy to the exporters. Countervailing also similar kind of effect, but that is also nothing to do with local taxes. So these two statements are wrong. When you know the real purpose of the anti-dumping and countervailing, first two statements are wrong. Third statement is true. Safeguard measure is imposed on import manufactured in foreign countries priced below the fair market value. So only one. Third one is rightly matched. Question number 10. If a country is placed under regular follow-up category of the Financial Action Task Force, what does that imply? Regular follow-up. The country is facing economic sanctions. The country is inefficient to manage illegal transactions. The country is most likely to be placed in the grey list in near future. The country has taken positive measures to tackle money laundering. யார வந்து regular follow-up categoryல இருக்கும்? எதுப்பா? B ன்னு சொல்றீங்களா? D. Positive measures. The country has taken positive measures to tackle money laundering is considered as a follow-up clause in Financial Action Task Force. இது again continuation of last class. Nostro account மட்டும் நேத்து பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? Deposits held in foreign bank in foreign currency. How many of them are correctly matched? Next, Vostro and Loro account. All three are correctly matched. All three. All three. This is also true. This is also true. If the government needs to pay 10 million every month in interest on its current debt, and if it devalues its currency, அப்ப என்ன நடக்கும்? Question number 12. இல்ல ஏவும் இல்ல டியும் இல்ல. Real interest payments are increased, but the nominal interest payments remains unaffected. Option C. Question conclude பண்ண முடியல A D தெரியல அப்படின்னா go back to the basics. ஒன்னு அந்த basics ரீட் பண்ணிட்டு திரும்ப இந்த கொஸ்டினை அட்ரஸ் பண்ணுங்க. கிளாஸஸ் கொண்டு போக முடியாது ஏன்னா நிறைய கொஸ்டின்ஸ் நம்ம சொல்யூஷன் பார்க்கணும். Which of the following are most likely impact the Indian economy if the US Federal Reserve cuts interest rate? rise in foreign investment in India, appreciation of Indian currency, growth in the Indian share market. All three would happen. Yes, option D, all three. In the context of international trade, which one of the following is primary objective of conducting principal purpose test? Principal purpose test ங்கிறது OECD ஓட initiative. OECD ஓட framework தான் இது. Identify what is principal purpose test. C இல்ல. ஒரு clue தரேன். இந்த frameworkல தான் இது cover ஆகுது. What is BEPS? Base erosion profit sharing. Now identify, read through the options, give me the answer. Option D. Yes. To ensure that a business is not primarily created to avoid taxes by taking advantage of the bilateral tax treaties. So OECD ஓட BEPS framework கீழே தான் principal purpose test. எதுக்காக அந்த கம்பெனி தொடங்குனாங்க? Principal purpose test. Tax avoid பண்றதுக்கு அப்படிங்கறனால அந்த கம்பெனி தொடங்குறாங்கன்னா அதை ஃபாலோ பண்றது தான். Right? To ensure that a business is not primarily created to avoid taxes by taking advantage of bilateral tax treaties. 15. Hello. Question number 15. Asian Development Bank, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, African Development Bank Group, New Development Bank. Question. Which among the following India is a founding member? Answer. Asian Development Bank la India member ah? Yes, India is a member. Is it a founding member? No. India joined later, but at the very year 1966 la form பண்றாங்க. இந்தியாவும் 1966 ல join ஆகுது, but it is not a founding member. India is a member. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, yes, very true. African Development Group Bank, from the very name, these are founded for the development of the socio-economic development of African countries, formed by African countries. India is a non-regional member. India is member of all banks. This is a non-regional member. It is not a founding member. It is a member. Okay. New Development Bank, obviously. BRICS sort of formation la vandadu. So the answer is only 2. 2 and 4. Only 2. Question number 16. Consider the following items: jute, forestry products, tobacco products, cotton. How many of the above are covered under WTO's agreements on agriculture? From the very name, agricultural products எல்லாம் mostly cover ஆகும். அதுல exceptions இருக்கு. அது தெரிஞ்சாதான் இந்த question answer பண்ணலாம். Jute, forestry products, tobacco products, cotton. How many? Jute, cotton, கண்டிப்பா வரும். Tobacco is an exception even though agriculture products. Forestry products are excluded from agriculture products, so அவங்க வர மாட்டாங்க. So jute and cotton, only 2. Tobacco is the excluded or exempted agricultural product. Okay. Answer, only 2, 1 and 4. Jute and cotton. Question 17. What is an international investment position of a country? Statements read பண்ணுங்க. Try to achieve the appropriate answer. International investment position. சி இல்ல இல்ல ஏவும் இல்ல அடடா பி 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 balance sheet of countries external assets and liability which give you the international investment position of a country. Option B, balance sheet of countries external assets. 18, with reference to the peace clause. Read. Peace clause of WTO. It states that a country can breach agricultural subsidy limit under the agreement on agriculture. Yes, அதனால தான் அந்த agriculture agreement போடுறாங்க. The countries can breach the subsidy. It is available to the developing nations till a permanent solution is found by WTO members to issue of public stock holdings of food security for food security purposes. True. Both the statements are correct. Both 1 and 2. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option C. Question number 19. Which of the following best describes the function of World Integrated Trade Solution? World Integrated Trade Solution. இல்ல சி இல்ல அடுத்து D. Analyzing international trade and tariff data to assess trade flows and policies. World Integrated Trade Solution. WITS, which is option D. Question number 20. Which one of the following terms is used to describe a situation where currency moves quickly between financial markets to take advantage of short-term interest rate differences? Hot currency. Hot currency. Option B. Short selling, which is again in news. 21. Short selling என்ன? Yeah, short securities that one does not own, expecting to buy them back later after a lower price. Option A. Question number 22. Which of the following is not correct with regard to T-bills, treasury bills? These are zero coupon securities and do not pay any interest. They can be purchased by retail investors. They can be issued for a maturity period of less than a year. They can be issued both by central government and state governments. T-bills. D. What made the statement wrong? They are issued by the central government. Yes. Types of derivatives and their description. Option future forward. A right to buy or sell an asset within a certain time. An agreement to buy or sell an asset at a predetermined price. A contract to exchange financial obligations based on a notional principle. Answer? Only two. Identify the wrong one. Option? Option B, only two. Which is the wrong statement? Wrong pair? Forward. This is a swap agreement, not a forward agreement. This is a swap. Both are true. Third one is wrong. Only two. Okay. Gilt-edged market. Okay, the government securities market is generally referred to as the gilt-edged market. In the government securities, investors generally get assured returns. Option A. Option A. Yes. Both the statements are true and 2 explains 1. 25. Types of share and their description. Sweat, script. எல்லாமே textbook is share நான் படிக்கிறேன். Script share, preference share and right share. Which of the following are rightly matched? Gilt-edged. Only? No. No. Only one. Only one of them is rightly matched. Sweat share. எதுக்கு யாருக்கு கொடுப்பாங்க ஸ்வெட் ஷேர்? எம்ப்ளாயிஸ் கொடுப்பாங்க இல்லையா? அவங்க வேலை செஞ்சதுக்காக அந்த ஷேர் அவங்களுக்கு கொடுப்பாங்க. ஸோ இஷ்யூ டு தி ஷேர் ஹோல்டர்ஸ் இல்ல, அது கம்பெனி எம்ப்ளாயிஸுக்கு. ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஷேர் தான் யார் கொடுப்பாங்க? ஷேர் ஹோல்டர்ஸுக்கு. Preference share, dividends are paid to the shareholders prior to the issuance of common stock dividends. This is true. Right share given to existing shareholders without any charge illa, with a minimal charge. They are not free, with a minimal charge at a price. Shareholders correct them, but they are not without any charge, makes the statement wrong. So the only right one is your third one, preference share. 3. Okay. 26. Which one of the following best describes the term pump and dump scheme? Literal meaning எடுத்துக்கிட்டா கூட more or less answer வரலாம். Try. Pump and dump scheme. No. இல்ல. Go through the options again. Yes. The practice of artificially inflating stock prices only to sell them later at higher prices for profit. Pump and dump scheme is option A. B is most convincing, but the right answer is A. Non-convertible preference shares. Question number 27. Preference share is the only correctly matched share earlier. Dividend to the shareholders are given. All 3 statements are true. All 3 statements are true. They do not have voting rights, yes. So they do not dilute the ownership. The voting rights are also not given. All are correct. They neither result in the expansion of the company equity base or increase its debt. They provide fixed dividends with a specified redemption period, and they do not provide the voting rights in companies' general meetings. All statements given are correct regarding non-convertible preference share. With reference to mutual funds. Equity mutual fund. An equity mutual fund invests more than 60% of its total assets in equity shares. Debt mutual funds are generally recommended to investors with a lower risk tolerance. Both the statements are true. Both the statements are true, but the percentage value is mostly 65%. Generally, they share 65%. The statement gives more than 60%. It is true. Adanala we relate. Absolute number nu paatha, it has to be 65. So the answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Equity shares 65% share கொடுக்கறதா equity mutual fund. Which of the following are derivative instruments? Futures, promissory notes, credit default swaps, commercial papers. Derivative instruments. One and three. Promissory notes and commercial papers, these are money market instruments. Yes. These are not derivative. Futures and credit default swaps. Option D, 1 and 3. Which one of the following refers to the provision to sell more shares than originally planned in an IPO? Initial public offerings la இருக்கு. நினைச்சதை விட அதிகமான ஷேர் செல் பண்ற கண்டிஷன் என்ன? Over subscription facility, greenfield option, green shoe option, blue chip clause. இது எல்லாமே படிச்சு வைக்கணும் சொல்லிட்டு நான் ஐபிஓஸ்ல. ஆன்சர் என்ன இதுக்கு? green shoe option. Option C. Selling more share than originally planned in an IPO, it is your green shoe. Consider the following statements with regard to exchange traded funds, ETFs. ETFs again a PYQ. Read through the question and answer. They are investment funds traded on stock exchanges similar to stocks. They are priced once daily at the net asset value. They are regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India. They are investment fund traded on stock exchanges similar to stock. They are not priced daily. They are priced continuously. ஒரு நாளைக்குன்னு அந்த வேல்யூ ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. கிராஜுவலா அந்த டேல அதோட பிரைஸ் கூடவோ குறையவோ செய்யலாம். They are priced continuously. Once daily la mutual funds na adu it is priced once daily. These are they are priced gradually or continuously throughout the day. The price of that particular thing changes, varies. ஒரு நாள்ல ஒரு ஃபிக்ஸ்டு பிரைஸ்ல அது இருக்காது. செகண்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ராங். எஸ், இட் இஸ் ரெகுலேட்டட் பை செபி. ட்ரூ. ஆன்சர் 1 and 3 எங்க இருக்கு? டி. ஆப்ஷன் டி 1 and 3. Which one of the following refers to the practice of buying and selling the same security by the same investor to create misleading market information? Insider trading, wash trading, front running, circular trading. Wash trading. Option B. Probably write this down. நான் நோட் பண்ணி தான் வச்சிருக்கேன். Question number சொல்லுது. 32. Yes. Wash trading, buying and selling the same securities simultaneously to create misleading market activity or illegal practices. The answer explains wash trading. Insider trading. Insider trading using non-public information to trade. Using non-public information to trade. Front running. Front running, broker trades ahead of client orders. Broker trades ahead of client orders. Client சொல்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி broker போய் முதல்ல அந்த ட்ரேட் அந்த ஸ்டாக்ஸ் வாங்குறது. ஓகே. சர்க்குலர் ட்ரேடிங். ட்ரேடர்ஸ் கொல்யூட் கும்பலா செய்யறது. Traders collude to trade among themselves. Traders collude to trade among themselves to inflate prices. Inflate prices. ஓகே, வேற இந்த மாதிரி டேர்ம்ஸ் எந்த கொஸ்டின்ல வந்துச்சு? ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் வரும்போது நான் சொல்றேன். Question number, next one. Question number 33. National Stock Exchange over-the-counter market, RBI's retail direct platform, NSE's Go Bid platform. How many of the above facilitate the trade of G-Secs, government security? Only 3, which you find wrong. Over the counter marketலயும் G-Sec sell பண்ணலாம். G-Sec sell பண்ணலாம். The answer is all four. With reference to BSE Sensex in India, consider the following statement. It tracks the performance of the 100 largest companies in India. It is always calculated in terms of Indian rupees. It is reviewed and revalued semi-annually each year. Sensex எத்தனை கம்பெனிஸ்க்கு? 30 companies. Yes. Nifty தான் எத்தனை கம்பெனிஸ்க்கு? 50 கம்பெனிஸ்க்கு. So first one is wrong. It is always calculated in terms of Indian rupees. It is generally, since it is happening in India, it is generally calculated in terms of Indian rupees, but it is also calculated in US dollars for global investors. It's generally calculated in Indian rupees as well as in US dollars for global investors. So second statement is also wrong. It is reviewed and revalued semi-annually. Yes. Option C, 3 only. Lock-in period. Consider the following statement with regard to lock-in period in capital market. It is a duration after an IPO when certain shareholders are prohibited from selling their shares. The expiry of a lock-in period can lead to sudden rise in the prices of the share. Lock-in periodங்கிறது என்ன? ஐபிஓல செல் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமேட்டு கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு அந்த செல்ல அந்த ஷேரை செல் பண்ண அலௌடு கிடையாது. அந்த பீரியட் தான் லாக்-இன் பீரியட். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ட்ரூ. தி எக்ஸ்பைரி ஆஃப் லாக்-இன் பீரியட் கேன் லீட் டு சடன் இன்க்ரீஸ் இன் பிரைசஸ் ஆஃப் ஷேர்ஸ். நோ, நீட் நாட் நெசசரிலி நோ. இட் டஸ் நாட் லீட் டு சடன் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆஃப் தி பிரைசஸ். லாக்-இன் பீரியட் எதுக்காக வைக்கிறாங்கன்னா அந்த ஐபிஓவால நினைச்ச அளவுக்கு ஃபண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்களான்னு பார்த்துக்கிறதுக்கு தான் அந்த லாக்-இன் பீரியட் கொடுப்பாங்க. Okay, so second statement is wrong. First statement is true. Option A, 1 only. Which of the following ways does inverted duty structure impact an economy? Inverted duty structure. It discourages domestic manufacturing by making raw materials costlier than finished goods. It increases dependence on imports, leading to higher trade deficits. It discourages local employment and domestic value addition. Inverted duty structure. ஒரு finished product இருக்கிறத விட ரா மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் காஸ்ட்லியா இருந்தா அதுதான் இந்த இன்வெர்டட் டியூட்டி ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்னு ரெஃபர் பண்ணுவோம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் ட்ரூ. அப்படி இருந்தா என்ன ஆகும்? டிபெண்டன்ஸ் ஆன் இம்போர்ட்ஸ் வில் ரைஸ். அதை மேனுஃபேக்சர் பண்ற ரா மெட்டீரியல் வாங்குறத விட எனக்கு அந்த ப்ராடக்டா வாங்குறது சீப்பு. Leads to higher trade deficits. It discourages local employment, domestic value addition. Yes. So all three. Inverted duty structure, all three statements are true. Hello. Give me the answer. Following is issued by the Government of India to meet temporary mismatches in the government's cash flows and bridge the short-term liquidity needs. அது என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? Commercial paper, cash management bill, certificate of deposits, commercial bill. மேல. Cash management bill. Yes, B. Option B, cash management bill. Next. With reference to participating notes, P notes, consider the following. They are offshore derivative instruments that allow foreign investors to invest in India. Investors issuing P notes are required to register with the SEBI. Chalo, which of the following statements are true? Offshore derivative instrument allowing foreign investors to invest in India with the help of P notes. Yes. Investors issuing P notes are required to register with SEBI. யாரு P notes issue பண்ணுவா இந்த இன்வெஸ்டர்ஸுக்கு? Financial investment institutions. And these institutions has to register with the SEBI. So direct P notes investors வந்து SEBI கிட்ட register பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. The statement is wrong. P notes are issued by SEBI registered financial institutions. Okay. So option A1 only. Again. BA2, BA3 இதெல்லாம் என்ன? Credit ratings of companies. Moody's credit rate. Okay, credit rating of companies. Which of the following are categorized as negotiable instruments? Negotiable instruments in India. Promissory notes, bills of exchange, checks. Yes. All are negotiable instruments in India. 41. The first 5-year plan in India emphasized on investment in heavy industries in order to achieve industrialization for rapid economic development. The first 5-year plan in India was based on Harald Domer model. First 5-year plans primarily emphasized on agriculture. The 5-year plan which focused on heavy industries was second. So answer is D. Option D. 1 is incorrect and 2 is correct. With reference to the external sector of an economy, which of the following correctly describes the term revaluation? Read the options. C. The act of raising the value of domestic currency against a foreign currency is revaluation. Yes, option C. Okay, a little bit old news, but try to answer. 22-23. Both the statements are true. Present India trading partners. Highest share. Okay, இதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சு வச்சுப்பீங்களா? Current affairs ல படிப்போமா? Both the statements are true. Because of this war, there are lot of changes happening, but UPSC will not ask. Mostly, this would be reflected in your mains and personality tests largely. Question number regarding foreign trade policy 2023. Again, a little bit old news. 3 years முன்னாடி வரைக்கும் questions எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். அது யூபிஎஸ்சியோட ட்ரெண்ட் தான். Even though they state as current affairs, அவங்களோட current affairs dates back a little early. Chalo, answer the question 2023 foreign trade policy. Answer is all 4. All 4 statements are true. Go back home and read all the statements. Okay, all 4. Option D. The context of foreign trade policy, which of the following best describes merchanting trade? Merchanting trade. 45. Option C. Look for another option. Merchanting trade. Option B. It involves shipment of goods from one foreign country to another foreign country through an Indian mediatory, but without touching the Indian ports. That is merchanting trade. Option B. 46. With reference to 8th five-year plan in India, consider the following statements. Indicative planning was adopted in India during the 8th five-year. The actual growth rate achieved during 8th five-year plan was higher as compared to the targeted growth rate. 46. Indicative planning எப்போ தொடங்குனாங்க? Indicative planningனா flexible targets இருக்கிறது. Directive planning ஒன்னு இருக்கும். Directive planning அப்படிங்கிறது fixed targets. இது அச்சீவ் பண்ணணும்னு வைக்கிறது. ஃபிளெக்சிபிள் டார்கெட்ஸ் ஒரு ரேஞ்ச் கொடுத்து பண்ணுவாங்க. ஃபேஸா டெவலப் பண்ணிட்டு சொல்றது. இதெல்லாம் ஃபிளெக்சிபிள் டார்கெட். இண்டிகேட்டிவ் பிளானிங் இட் வாஸ் டெவலப்ட் இன் தி 8th five-year plan. Both the statements are true. Option C, both 1 and 2. Question number 47. 47. Tarapur Committee is related to capital account convertibility of Indian rupees. Indian rupee is fully convertible on capital account. The capital account transactions are regulated under Foreign Exchange and Regulation Act in India. Chalo. Answer என்ன இதுக்கு? Only one. Why second statement wrong? Third one, capital account transactions are regulated by FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Okay. So yes. Answer A, one only. With reference to the international trade, consider the following statements. Last class also we discussed pegging, crawl peg, இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? Pegging of currency is when a country uses a foreign currency in lieu of its currency, mainly due to the former stability. அவங்க கரன்சிக்கு பதிலா இன்னொரு கரன்சியை யூஸ் பண்றதுதான் பெக்கிங். சலோ. Pegging of currency is when currency uses a foreign currency in lieu of its currency, mainly due to former stability. In the floating exchange system, the exchange rate are regulated by demand and supply of domestic and foreign currencies in the concerned economy. Hard peg is an exchange rate policy in which usually market sets the exchange rate, but in some cases the central bank will intervene. போன கிளாஸ் கொஸ்டின் ஒரு தடவை ரீட் பண்ணிருந்தீங்கன்னா அதை ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம். பெக்கிங் largely deals with what? Deals with exchange rate. எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் ரேட்டை பத்தி. ஸோ திஸ் ஒன் ஒரு கரன்சி பதிலா இன்னொரு கரன்சியை யூஸ் பண்றது நம்ம பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்ல. ஜென்ரலா இன்டர்நேஷனல் டிரான்சாக்ஷன்ஸ்க்கு யாரை யூஸ் பண்றோம்? டாலர்ஸ் தான் யூஸ் பண்றோம். திஸ் இஸ் known as dollarization. Pegging of currency is largely related to exchange rate. It is an exchange rate system. Pegging is an exchange rate system. The first statement is wrong. Second statement is true. Hard peg is an exchange rate policy determined or fixed by the central bank. It was not driven by the market forces. So third statement is also false. Hard peg, central bank will, but in some cases central bank will intervene கொடுத்திருக்காங்கல்ல. இல்ல, central bank தான் அந்த exchange rate fix பண்ணும். So it is not driven by market forces. It has a fixed exchange rate. These are not driven by market forces. Yes. So the answer is only one. Second statement is the correct statement. Bharat Park Trade Zone. India யாரு கூட எந்த இடத்துல? Dedicated trade hub for Indian goods. அதான் Bharat Park Trade Zone. Yes, UAE. Option B, UAE. With reference to the Export Preparedness Index 2022, Export Preparedness Index 2024 வந்துருச்சு 25 report வரதுக்கான possibility இருக்கு. It is released by Niti Aayog in association with the Institute of Competitiveness. True. It is based on 4 pillars: policy, business ecosystem, 4 pillars of policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem, and export performance. See, these are 4 pillars. இது மாறல. 2022 there were 10 sub pillars. 2024 வந்தப்போ there were 13 sub pillars. So the sub pillars category has been increasing. Since we are looking at the question of 2022, 4 pillars is also true now. இந்த 4 pillar தான் பேசிக்கா. இதுக்கு கீழே sub pillars தான் increase ஆகிக்கிட்டே போகுது. Under this index, the states are classified into 3 categories: coastal, landlocked, union territories, or small states. For this question, this is true. Coastal states, landlocked states, UTs, and small industries. Performance Index 2022. இதே 23-24 வரும்போது the classification of states were quite different. Large states, small states, northeastern states, union territories னு மாத்துனாங்க. இப்போ 2025 ரிப்போர்ட் வருதுன்னா அதுல எப்படி இருக்கும்னா ஸ்டேட்ஸ் aspiring states, performer states னு சொல்லி ஸ்டேட்ஸை மாத்திருக்காங்க. பட் இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் மட்டும் for this question this is true. But when we look at the present report, the report preparedness index 2024-25, this may vary. Okay, these statements are true. For this, we go for 1, 2, and 3. Coastal states, landlocked states, union territories, and small states. இது இல்லாம large states, Himalayan states நடுவுல changes கொண்டு வந்தாங்க. இப்போ அது aspiring states, performing states னு மாத்திருக்காங்க. Fine. Financial Intelligence Unit in India. It is a statutory body set up under Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. It reports directly to the Prime Minister's office. என்னவா இருக்கும் 51. பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் யாரெல்லாம் ஹெட் பண்ணுவாரு இல்ல பிஎம்ஓ ஆபீஸ் எதுக்கு கீழே வரணும் எல்லாம் பார்த்தோம்ல, இது அப்படி கிடையாது சரியா. This is reports to Economic Intelligence Council. Financial Intelligence Agents reports to Economic Intelligence Council, which is headed by யாராருப்பா? Finance Minister. Yes. So Prime Minister office க்கும் Prime Minister க்கும் இது சம்பந்தம் இல்ல. Second statement is wrong. It is a statutory body set up under Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. No. It is formed in 2004 directly under the Ministry of Finance. So it is not a statutory body. It is an organization set up under Ministry of Finance in the year 2004. So both the statements are wrong, neither one nor two. 52. With reference to excuse me, International Finance Corporation, consider the following statements. It is an arm of International Monetary Fund. It offers rupee-denominated masala bonds. It gives interest-free loans to world's poorest countries. International Finance Corporation, IFC. It is an arm of World Bank Group. World Bank Group is a combination of 5 organizations. So this is World Bank Group, not IMF. It gives interest-free loans to world poorest countries. This is a part of International Development Agency, which is also a part of World Bank Group, not IFC. IFC, it offers rupee-denominated masala bonds. Interest-free loans for poor countries ni kudukuradhu IDA. IDA adu International Development Agency. These are all are part of World Bank group. அடுத்த question ஒன்று வருது பின்னாடி, அதனால தான் அதை டீட்டெயிலா சொல்லுங்க. அடுத்த குரூப்ல அடுத்த questionsல which are part of World Bank groups இருக்கு. So the answer is option B, 2 only. The correct statement is 2 only. Which among the following form basis of international trade? For international trade or base, difference in natural resources, size of the population, extent of foreign investment. எதெல்லாம் வரும்? All are factors or all are form basis for international trade. Question 54. The context of national income accounting. Consider the following statements. Money supply in an economy is an example of stock variable. அதாவது இந்த கான்டெக்ஸ்டுக்கும் இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டுக்கும் சம்பந்தம் இல்லை. ஓகே, மேபி காப்பி பேஸ்ட் பண்ணும்போது எங்கன்னா மாறி போயிருக்கும். பட் வி லுக் இன்டு தி ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ். Statement number 1, ignore the question. Money supply in an economy is an example of stock variable. Stocks are defined over a period of time. Stocks are defined at a point. So these stocks are over a period of time is wrong. Money supply in economy is an example of stock variable. True. Answer C. இது வந்து எங்கேயோ மிஸ்மேட்ச் ஆயிருக்குன்னா ignore, please ignore. Question number 55. Consider the following statements. Bond yield or bond price. Excuse me. Bond price and bond yield are inversely related. Yes or no? Yes. Bond yield and interest rate are inversely related. No, they are directly related or what we call as positively related. They are not inversely related. Interest rate and bond prices are inversely related. Yes. The bond prices and the interest rates are inversely related. Two statements are correct. So only two, 1 and 3. Second one is wrong. They are positively related. Indian stock market, Sensex and Nifty. Sensex is an index of top 50 traded companies traded on the Bombay Stock Exchange, while Nifty is an index of top 30 companies traded on the NSE. No. As mismatch or swapping has been happened. So Sensex is 30, Nifty is 50, one BSE, inone NSE. For Sensex, the base year is 1978-79, whereas for Nifty, the base year is 1995. Yes, second one is true. Option B, 2 only. Consider the following statements regarding net factor income from abroad. படிங்க சொல்லுங்க. Net factor income. One only. Yes. So net factor income would be positive if the income earned from abroad is greater than the income paid. Yeah, it is not less than, it is greater than. So answer would be option A, 1 only. First statement is true. LIBOR. London Interbank offered rate. LIBOR refers to option Option B. World's leading banks charge each other for short-term loans. That's LIBOR. Consider the following statement regarding P notes, participatory notes. It is a derivative instrument. Yes. It is issued in a foreign jurisdiction by an RBI registered foreign institutional investors. No. Yaradu? SEBI. SEBI registered FII da issue பண்ண முடியும் P notes. So answer one only. Option A, one only. Which of the following statements best describes WTO's most favored nation principle? Read the options, give me the answer. Most favored nation principle. We nation should treat all trade partners equally without any bias. Option B. Yes, ma'am. Currency swap. Consider the following statement with respect to currency swap agreements. It is an agreement between central banks of two countries. One country exchanges its national currency for that of another or even a third one. Yes, both the statements are true. Both the statements are true. Option C, 1 and 2. The context of capital markets. Consider the following statements. Capital markets provide direct funding from savers to users via an issuance of securities. In this market, capital funds comprising both equity and debt are issued but not traded. Answer என்ன இதுக்கு? Question 62. Neither one nor two. First question in capital markets provide direct funding from the savers or users to users. This is also true. Through the issuance of security. Securities கொடுத்து தானே அவங்களோட அமௌண்ட்டை இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ண வைக்கிறாங்க. So this is true. First one is true. Second one is false. It is issued but not traded. It is also traded. The the securities are traded in the stock market. So the answer is option A, one only. The idea of 5-year plans were taken from Soviet Union. Yes. Option D, Soviet Union. Okay. Consider the following statement with respect to masala bonds. They are bonds issued in the Indian capital market. In masala bonds, the currency risk lies with the investor and not the issuer. Masala bonds. இதுப்பா ஆமா ஆன்சர் என்ன இதுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் wrong. It is issued overseas. Yeah, overseas by Indian entities to raise funds. So not in Indian market, it is issued overseas. Second one is true. Option B, two only. இது தெரிஞ்சிருக்க வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா தெரியல. Try to match. General agreements on trade and services, different mode 1, 2, 3, 4, and you need to match them. எதனா வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா? என்னப்பா 3 மட்டுமா? M3 என்னது M3? சொல்லு. Excuse me. So mode 1 is cross-border trade. Mode 2 is consumption abroad. Mode 3 is commercial presence. And mode 4 is the presence of natural persons. So the answer is none. None of them are rightly matched. Part of World Bank Group. Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, International Development Association, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, International Finance Corporation. The answer is all four. Question 67. Types of derivative and the description. 1, 2 already discussed. The answer is 3. All 3 pairs are correctly matched. Forward. Settlement takes place on a specific date in the future at today's pre-agreed price. That is your forward. Options. They give the right but not an obligation. Warrants, longer dated option is known as warrant. So the answer is all 3 pairs are rightly matched. Consider the following statements with respect to IMF. It was established along the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. யார் இது? World Bank. இதுதான் வந்து ஜெனரலா World Bank ரெஃபர் பண்ணுவோம். Yes, Bretton Woods twins எல்லாம் படிப்போம் இல்லையா? IMF and World Bank. Yes, first statement is true. It is a specialized agency of the UN. Yes. India is a founding member of IMF. Question number 68. No, yes, sir. Yes. India is a founding member. Answer C. 1, 2, 3. Answer. Rapid Industry Monopoly Plan. Option B. Second 5-year plan. Option B. Second 5-year plans. Which of the following is not likely the benefits of internationalization of Indian rupee? Indian rupee internationalization ஆகுறனால benefits இல்ல, not likely the benefits என்னவா இருக்கலாம்? Indian rupee international rupee basket குள்ள போயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா reduction in the need of holding foreign exchange reserves, large foreign exchange reserves. Yes, there is a reduction can happen. Elimination of vulnerability to external shocks. No. This is where I went back to the same question again. Last class, though I didn't find the options correct, I felt like, okay, vulnerability irukadu. No, it is prone to vulnerable to external shocks, Indian rupee becomes internationalized. Reduction in the volatility of rupees exchange rate. Need not necessarily. So third statement is also not likely the benefit. So answer is 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Option C, 2 and 3. Peace clause பார்த்தோம்தானே இப்போ கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி, but in a different option. It provides immunity to developing countries for subsidies given under public stock holding programs. The immunity is not applicable if the country exceeds the de minimis limit. The Indian minimum support price policy is not covered under peace clause. Peace clause முன்னாடி ஒரு கொஸ்டின் பார்த்தோம்ல, அது என்ன பார்த்தோம்? அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் சப்சிடிங்கிற கிளாஸை வந்து பிரீச் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம். எது டெம்பரவரியா பிரீச் பண்ணலாம்? அந்த வேர்ல்டு ஐஎம்எஃப் மெம்பர்ஸ் சேர்ந்து ஒரு சொல்யூஷன் கொடுக்குற வரைக்கும். ஸோ இதுல the immunity is not applicable to the country exceeds the de minimis limitங்கிறது no. Minimus limit breach பண்ணலாம், அதுதான் அந்த கிளாஸே இல்லையா? So it is applicable. India is a member of peace clause. So Indian minimum support price policy is covered. It is not covered, it is covered under peace clause for a temporary time period. Unless until the IMF members form a permanent solution for this third trade distorting clauses. The answer is only one. The first statement. Only one. The primary purpose of IMF's quotas. determine member countries' voting power, set eligibility criteria for IMF lending, promote exchange rate stability. The quota order purpose என்ன? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. The third is the purpose or the function of IMF per se. IMF ஓட வேலை to promote exchange rate stability. ஆனா IMF ல இருக்க quota would determine the member countries voting power and it set the criteria for IMF lending. So the answer is option B, only two options, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Read the options, give me. A statement which clearly differentiates capital market and money market. Answer என்ன? Capital market facilitates the trading of both debt and equity instruments, while money market deals only in debt instruments. Yes, security கிடையாதுங்க. Security instruments வராது, equity instruments வராது, debt instruments மட்டும்தான். First statement true. Instruments traded in money market generally carry higher risk and higher returns compared to those of capital market. எங்க காசு போட்டா சீக்கிரம் மல்டிப்ளை ஆகும், நிறைய எங்க வரும்? கேபிட்டல் மார்க்கெட்ஸ்ல தான் ரிட்டர்ன் அதிகம். அதே சமயம் கேபிட்டல் மார்க்கெட்ல தான் ரிஸ்க்கும் அதிகம். So when compared to capital market, money market has low risk and low returns. Second statement wrong. Capital market is regulated by SEBI. Money market is regulated by RBI. So third statement, first statement true, second one is wrong. So the answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. Capital marketல தான் ரிஸ்க்கும் அதிகம், கேபிட்டல் மார்க்கெட்ல தான் ரிட்டர்ன்ஸும் அதிகம். சலோ, மோஸ்ட் கன்வின்சிங் ஆன்சர் ஒன்று வரும், ப்ராபப்ளி அது கரெக்டா கூட இருக்கலாம். டிஸ்கிரைப் த கான்செப்ட் ஆஃப் ரோபோ டாக்ஸ். ரோபோ டாக்ஸ் கொஸ்டின் என்னப்பா? 74. C இல்ல, B. Option B. A tax levied on companies using robots or automation to replace human workers. இதனால தான் it is being taxed. Okay, so replacing human workers, so it is being taxed. 75. With reference to WTO agreement on agriculture, consider the following statement regarding de minimis provision. Question number 75. It is the minimal amount of domestic support that are allowed even though they distort trade. Trade distort ஆனாலும் support mechanism தான் de minimisங்கிறது. De minimis support is expressed as percentage of the total value of agricultural production in a given year. And agriculture production இத்தனை percentage is considered as a support mechanism. Developing countries have a higher de minimis threshold compared to developed countries. Yes, that is how we help the developing countries to bring in the trade distortion, to eliminate the trade distortion. So all statements are true. Option D, 1, 2, 3. Hmm. 76. Which of the following is a financial instrument used by corporate borrowers? To raise short-term funds. For 10:30 வரைக்கும் இருக்குல்ல, நான் தான் கொஞ்சம் பிரஷ் பண்ணிடுறேன். ஓகே, எனக்கு 3 hours கிளாஸ் சொன்னாங்களே 150 questions இருக்கு. என்னதான் பண்றது? Answer is commercial paper. Yes, B. Dutch disease, நேத்தே கிளாஸ்ல பார்த்தோம். It is because of resource boom. One sector has been exporting more rather than the other. So regarding Dutch disease, is characterized by rapid growth in one sector and the decline in other sectors. Large inflow of foreign aid or foreign direct investment can also exert upward pressure on the currency. Both the statements are true, but it does not explain the Dutch disease per se. Dutch diseaseங்கிறது ரிசோர்ஸ் பூம் தான். நியூலி டிஸ்கவர்ட் ரிசோர்ஸ்னு பார்த்தோம்ல போன கிளாஸ்ல தான் ரிசோர்ஸ் பூம். So option C, sorry, option B, 1 and 2 are correct, but does not explain the correct answer. A strong US dollar squeezes global credit. Many countries and companies outside India borrow in US dollars. Outside America, borrow in US dollars. Answer enna? Both the statements are correct, but one does not nearly explain two. Okay. Next one. Concept of buffer stock of grains was introduced in the fourth 5-year plan. Garibi Hatao plan. Okay. Eliminate poverty was the very key purpose. So buffer stocks. 80. With reference to World Bank Group, consider the following statements. Which of them are correct? World Bank Group consists of 5 institutions, including IBRD and IDA. Yes. The International Finance Corporation is a part of World Bank Group, primarily provides loans and finance assistance to governments of developing countries. இப்பதானே முன்னாடி பார்த்தோம் மசாலா பாண்ட்ஸ் இஷ்யூ பண்ணோம் அது லோன்ஸ் கொடுக்காது ஐஎஃப்சி இட் இஸ் தி பர்பஸ் ஆஃப் ஐடிஏன்னு பார்த்தோமா ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செகண்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ராங் சின்ஸ் இதை டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணதுனால நான் கொஞ்சம் வேகமா போறேன் அண்ட் தேர்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ட்ரூ and the International Center for Settlement of Disputes directly handles disputes related to international trade agreements under WTO. The WTO under World Bank. Okay. So this is wrong. Second statement is wrong. They give mostly to private and loans is through IBA. Answer 1 and 3. Option A, 1 and 3. Go back home, read the statements once again. வீட்ல போய் கொஞ்சம் ஃப்ரீயா படிங்க ரஷ் பண்ணிக்க வேண்டாம். With reference to Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, consider the following statements. Asian Infrastructure Bank is governed by the World Bank. India is not a member of AIIB. Its stated main objective is to promote economic development and alleviate poverty. எதுப்பா? India is a founding member. Asian Infrastructure Bank, World Bank கீழே work பண்ற bank it is governed by no, it is an independent bank. It is not governed by World Bank. India is a founding member. Main objective is to promote economic development தான் economic development but elevation poverty elevation கிடையாது. Okay, economic development I will read it enhance regional connectivity. It will finance infrastructure from the very name. Okay, it finance infrastructure primarily focusing on environment and social sustainability. So poverty eliminationங்கிறது main objectiveல வராது. Main objectiveல poverty elevation வராது. Economic development வரும். So all statements are incorrect. So the answer is 1, 2 and 3. Which of the following statements is or are incorrect? So all 3 statements are incorrect regarding Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Forest reserves. படிச்சிருச்சோம். Forest reserves. Third statement is wrong. Why? Indian forest reserves consist of foreign currency, gold reserves, SDR, and its reserve tranche in IMF. இது எல்லாமே சேர்த்து தான் forex. So onlyங்கிறது makes wrong. All three other statements are true. So the right answer is 1, 2, and 4. Option B, 1, 2, and 4. 83. Remittances are considered a stable source of foreign currency inflow for India. Remittances are classified as invisible export in the current account. Which of the following is correct with respect to above statements? Stable source of foreign currency inflow. Yes, it is an invisible exports in your current account. Both the statements are true, but it does not explain the first statement. B. Option B. With reference to forward exchange rate. It is the rate of exchange for a future dated foreign exchange market transaction. True. Its adoption helps in avoiding the exchange rate risk of foreign currencies. That is also true. Third statement. Forward exchange rate is the nominal exchange rate directly adjusted for inflation. No. So it is not adjusted for inflation. Therefore, forward exchange rate is in which it is a real exchange rate. It is not adjusted with the inflation. So the answer, third statement is wrong. First two are correct. Option A. Chalo. Which of the following statements regarding India's external debt is or are correct? India's external debt consists of both sovereign and non-sovereign borrowings, government borrowings and private sector financial institutions. The significant portions of India's external debt is denominated in foreign currency, making it vulnerable to exchange rate fluctuations. That is also true. All of India's external debt is raised through multilateral institutions like IMF and World Bank. No. Most of them are generally, not all. So the answer is option A, 1 and 2. The role of clearinghouse, stock exchange. The role of clearinghouse in an organized stock exchange includes which of the following? Providing a financial guarantee, acting as an escrow-like system. எஸ்க்ரோங்கிறது வந்து ஒரு தேர்ட் பார்ட்டி சிஸ்டம். அவங்க எதுவும் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. உங்களோட மணியையோ இல்ல ஃபினான்ஷியல் இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்டையோ ஸ்டோர் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கிறது தான் எஸ்க்ரோ லைக் சிஸ்டம். ஆன்சர் என்ன? Both the statements are true. It provides a financial guarantee and acts like an escrow like system. Both the statements are true. Which of the following factors primarily influence Indian government bond yield? Very relevant question today. Actions of the RBI, inflation and short-term interest rate, foreign exchange reserves, global crude oil prices, which would affect primarily influence Indian government bond yield? All are important factors. Foreign exchange rate and crude oil prices have an indirect influence, but they would indirect effect, but they would primarily influence them. So all are correct. Okay, option D, 87, option D. Negotiable instruments in context of capital raising. Debentures, treasury bills, and commercial papers. All. Negotiable instruments in capital market. T-bills. T-bills. It is issued by central government only. Short-term unsecured debt instruments is used as a method for recapitalization of public sector banks. Okay, the answer is A, 1 and 2. Ivaradu. No, it is not used as a method for recapitalization of public sector banks. Stock market in the instruments na, so obviously 1 and 2. The term settlement cycle. சே உங்களுக்கு 10 வரைக்கும் தானே செஷனு चलो 10 questions தான் will வேகமா முடிச்சிடலாம். Answer settlement cycle. B, time taken to complete ownership transfer after a trade. That is option B. Which of the following correctly describes derivatives? Derivatives ங்கிறது என்ன? They are financial instruments whose value is determined by an underlying assets. So option B, yes. Types of bonds, rightly matched. Masala bonds, Maharaja bonds, Panda bonds. Issued in Indian rupees within India by Indian or foreign entities. It is issued in Indian rupees, but not in India, it is outside India. Maharaja bonds, they are issued in Indian rupees in India by Indian entities to raise foreign funds is true. Panda bonds, issued in Chinese yuan entities in China. It is not outside China, it is in China to raise foreign funds. So the rightly matched pair would be 2 Maharaja bonds. So only 1. Treasury bills again. Treasury bills are short-term instruments, whereas treasury bonds are long-term instruments. Treasury bills pay periodic interest, yes. Treasury bonds are only issued by private corporations, whereas T-bills are issued by government. Third statement is wrong. Treasury bills are issued by private corporations and the governments. Governments can also issue treasury bonds. Answer. Identify the incorrect statement. Only one, that is the third one. Third one is wrong. Stock and flow variables. Stock is measured at a specific point in time. Flow is measured over a period of time. Yes, is that true? Capital stock is an example of a stock variable, the very name. So answer is 1 and 2. Which of the following statement best explains the transition from 5-year plans to a new planning framework in India? Establishment of Niti Aayog to promote cooperative federalism. Niti Aayog replaced Planning Commission. Yes. With reference to India's foreign trade, consider the following statements. A trade deficit occurs when import exceeds export. India has consistently maintained a trade surplus since 1991 reforms. Wrong, obviously wrong. Okay. Petroleum products are among India's major imports. Yes. So the answer is 1 and 3. Option A, 1 and 3. Which of the following schemes are aimed at promoting exports from India? Exports from India. All. Go back home, read through all these schemes. இதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் important scheme தான். Product linked incentive schemes எல்லாமே ரொம்ப important. Answer is all 3 are aimed at promoting exports from India. Which of the following are among India's major export items? Petroleum products, gems and jewelry, software services, iron ore. எதுப்பா? Gems and jewelry, yes. We do export minor iron ore, but at a very small scale. So it is a minor export. So answer would be 1, 2, and 3. Answer. Also, the following statement regarding free trade agreements. FTAs eliminate tariffs on all goods between member countries. India, no, yeah, certain goods, not necessarily all goods, which they make an agreement between, they can make a free trade agreement. So it is not all goods. India is a part of RCEP. No, India is not a part of RCEP. FTAs can lead to trade creation and trade diversion. So only third statement is correct. Answer C, option C. Question number. Which of the 100, last one, which of the following are included in India's current account? Export of goods, foreign direct investment inflows, remittances from abroad, import of services. யார் வரமாட்டாங்க? 2 only, 2 வராது. So the answer is A, 1, 3, and 4. India's current account. Okay, चलो यार. கொஞ்சம் terms தான் வச்சிருந்தேன், சரி பரவாயில்ல. என்னப்பா? நான் forward பண்றேன். Important terms in each question. So இந்த 3 நாள்ல இருந்த question ஏன்னா நம்ம பெருசா டிஸ்கஷன் கொண்டு போக முடியல. 2 days தான் maximum number of questions cover பண்ணோம். So I have made the terms and their definitions, including the terms given in options. ஒரு சின்ன PDF தான். அது உங்களுக்கு ஷேர் பண்ணிடுறேன். அதை ரீட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. Okay. Thank you all. Happy learning.